They said my CEO was too old for love. I heard it whispered in elevators, laughed about in break rooms, typed cruelly in anonymous comments online. He's brilliant, but his heart is retired, they said. Men like him don't fall in love, they buy silence. I believed them too, until the night I stayed late, the lights went out, and he looked at me with a loneliness so raw it shattered everything I thought I knew. What I did next would risk my job, my reputation, and my heart, but it would also change both our lives forever. I joined the company fresh out of university, full of ambition and fear, the kind that keeps you awake at night rehearsing conversations that never happen. He was the CEO everyone feared and admired, silver hair, calm voice, eyes that seemed to carry decades of battles. Mr. Adrian Hale, 62, widowed, powerful, untouchable. On my first day, when he shook my hand, his grip was firm but gentle, and for a moment, I felt seen in a way that unsettled me. I told myself it was just respect. Nothing more. Weeks passed, then months. I noticed things others ignored. How he stayed late every night, long after the executives left. How he drank his coffee cold because he forgot to sip it while staring out the window. How his office walls were bare, no family photos, no awards on display, just space. Emptiness. People said he chose work over love. I began to wonder if love had simply left him behind. One evening, close to midnight, I was still at my desk finishing a report no one else wanted to touch. The office was quiet, almost echoing. That's when I heard a soft cough. He stood there, jacket off, sleeves rolled up, looking tired. Not powerful, just human. He asked if I could help him with a presentation. I nodded, my heart racing. We worked side by side in silence, the glow of the screen lighting his face. Suddenly, he spoke, not about numbers or strategy, but about how silence becomes louder as you age. How people stop asking how you feel and start assuming you feel nothing at all. I didn't plan it. I didn't calculate it. I simply said, "You don't seem empty to me." He froze. And in that moment, I knew, this was where everything would change. From that night on, something shifted. Not a scandal, not romance, yet, but trust. He started asking my opinion, not just professionally, but personally. We talked about books, about music, about regrets. He told me about his wife, how cancer took her slowly, how he held her hand and promised he'd keep living even when he didn't know how. I listened, really listened, and the more I did, the more I saw the man behind the title. The man everyone had written off as too old for love. The office gossip grew louder. People noticed he smiled more. They noticed I was called into his office often. They noticed everything except the truth, that two lonely souls were finding warmth in unexpected conversation. One afternoon, I overheard a manager say, "She's just a phase. He'll never love again." Something inside me snapped. Not anger, resolve. The company held its annual gala a month later. Black ties, crystal glasses, polite laughter. I attended reluctantly, wearing a simple dress, planning to stay invisible. He arrived late, as usual, commanding the room without trying. Halfway through the evening, the host announced a slow dance. Couples filled the floor. He stood alone, watching, hands clasped behind his back. That's when I did what no one else dared. I crossed the room, ignored the stares, and held out my hand. "Would you dance with me?" I asked. The room fell silent. His eyes widened, not in shock, but fear. Then hope. He took my hand. As we danced, whispers buzzed around us, but they faded. His hand trembled slightly on my back. "They'll talk," he said quietly. I smiled. "Let them." For the first time, he laughed, not the polite CEO chuckle, but a real, surprised laugh that came from deep inside. In that moment, I realized love doesn't ask for permission from age or society. It only asks for courage. And we were just beginning. After the gala, nothing was the same. The board questioned his judgment. HR called me in. Friends warned me I was ruining my future. Even he pulled away, afraid of hurting me. He said he didn't want to be the reason my life became harder. That's when I told him the truth, that he wasn't stealing my youth, he was teaching me what real connection looked like. That love wasn't about matching timelines, but matching souls. The pressure grew unbearable. One morning, rumors exploded online, accusations, lies, cruel jokes about age and power. He called me into his office, face pale, and said he would step down if it meant protecting me. I realized then how deep his love already ran. And that's when I did the second thing no one else dared. I spoke at the board meeting. Not as his employee, but as a woman who chose him freely. I told them about respect, about consent, about how easy it is to mock what you don't understand. The room was silent. Some looked away. Some nodded. He didn't step down. I didn't leave. We set boundaries, clear and professional. Love didn't weaken the company, it strengthened it. Slowly, the whispers turned into acceptance. Then admiration. People saw him happier, healthier. They saw me stronger, more confident. They stopped saying he was too old for love. On a quiet evening months later, we sat on a park bench, watching the sun dip below the skyline. He took my hand, just like I had taken his that night. I thought my heart was done, he said. Turns out, it was just waiting for someone brave enough to knock. I leaned against his shoulder, knowing our story wouldn't fit everyone's expectations, and that was okay. Because love isn't about age. It's about seeing someone when the world has decided they're invisible. It's about daring to care when caring costs you something. They said my CEO was too old for love. They were wrong. Love was just waiting for us to be brave enough to choose it, together.